Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 0 of Receiver. This is a game that I got for free a long time ago, and I've been playing it off and on since. I haven't logged very many hours in it, partially because it frustrates me to no end. So the big thing with this game is it's effectively a weird gun simulator kind of thing. You see in the bottom left I have the gun in 3 magazines, and that's about it. There's no other HUD to speak of, no life, stamina, ammo, what have you. So the most difficult thing to get used to with this game is the controls. And at the very top left you can see there's a view help, press question mark, but I'm not going to be using that because I'm familiar enough to make do without it, but I'll probably still flubber about and fail to remember controls and all sorts of wackiness. So if we hit tilde, we can pull our gun out, and it's empty, it has nothing in it. Bad click sound. So basic operation. We have the gun. This is a Colt 1911. It has magazines that hold 7 rounds at maximum, with another round chambered. It has 8 rounds that you can fire before you have to reload. So if we hit 2, we can bring the magazine up, and then if we hit Z, aha! It is Z. We put it in. If we hold R, it slides it back, and then we have a new round chambered. If we hold down T and then hold down R, we slide it halfway back and we can see that the round is actually chambered. But that means that it took 1 bullet from the magazine, so now the magazine has 1 less in it. So we're going to hit G, nope, not G, E, to eject the magazine, and then we're going to put the gun away with tilde and then hit Z to put a new bullet into the magazine. Redraw the gun with tilde, put this magazine back in with Z, and then we are all filled up. Holding T and R shows that we have a round chambered. The unique thing about the Colt is it has a safety if you hit V, which means no matter how you try, it won't fire. It's tilted to the side like that. I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of this is, but it's the only gun in this game that has the safety. So this game doesn't feature any checkpoints or anything. If you die, you have to start all over, and every time you respawn, you get a different gun. There's only 3 that you can choose from, but this time we got the Glock 17. The magazines have a capacity of 17, 1 in the chamber, means that it can shoot 18 shots before you have to reload it. Same thing as this is a Colt. If you hold TNR, you can see you have a round chambered. Whoops. Hit E, you can pop it out. So the unique thing about the Glock 17 is it has a full auto and a single fire mode, which is if you hit V on it instead of triggering a safety, you switch between modes. If it's sticking out to the right, like it is now, it's full auto, which shoots very, very quickly and can empty a magazine in about a second, which is a lot of bullets very quickly, difficult to control, and it's not a good idea. If we switch it to semi-auto, it behaves like you think it would. Shoots 1 bullet every time you pull the trigger. This is my personal favorite just because it can hold a lot of bullets. You usually spawn with more just because it can, and I think it's just the easiest to use. Okay, after killing myself several times in order to get the 3rd and final gun, we have the Smith & Wesson Model 10 revolver. So obviously since this is a revolver, it's a lot different than how the other guns function, in that it doesn't use magazines and just has the cylinder that you can spin with the mouse wheel. That's its special thing. It doesn't serve any purpose, but it's good fun. So if you hit E, it pops it out just like you pop out magazines, and if you hit R, it flicks it back in, and you can spin it around until you hit F, which pulls back the hammer, and then the spinning stops. You don't have to pull back the hammer because it is a double action, so every time you fire, it automatically pulls it back, but you save a tiny, tiny millisecond of time if you pull it back beforehand, so it's kind of a good practice to get into. If for whatever reason you want to spin the cylinder around for fun, if you hold down F, hold down left mouse, and then release F, it releases the hammer, and then you can pop that out again. When this is out, if you hit V, it ejects all the rounds in the cylinder. Sometimes it gets stuck, so you gotta mash it a little bit. Any unspent rounds will be dropped on the floor, and you can pick them up using G, which is the general pickup key for everything. And you can spin it around again to your heart's content, but it's unloaded, which is a bad idea. So when you spawn, you'll start with a random set of equipment. You will always have a gun of some sort, and you'll usually have a magazine inside of it, as well as 1 or 2 spare magazines. If you're lucky, you'll have a bit of spare ammo as well. Whoops, that you can see if you put your gun away. Up at the top left there, I have 4 bullets that you can put into the magazine by pressing Z. If you want to take bullets out, you can press R. So you can put them to another magazine. For whatever reason, you want to drop a magazine, pull it out, and hit E, and you'll just plop it on the ground there. Occasionally you'll find pickups around the world. It can range from... usually it's just bullets, but they can also include cassette tapes. We'll get to those in a minute. Another thing that you can find or occasionally spawn with is a flashlight. According to the devs, they say that the flashlight can run out of batteries, but I've never seen that happen. They say that it takes a few minutes, but I've never lived long enough to see that actually occur. So when you do find things on the ground, you can press G to pick them up, but I'm not going to pick it up right now because it's going to start a recording because of that cassette tape. In the very, very top right, you can see 0 tapes absorbed out of 11. That means that there are 11 of these tapes in this randomly generated world that we have to find. When we do, we win. I've never gotten this far. I think the most tapes I've ever gotten is 5 before I die some way or another. So now that we've gone over all 3 of the guns in this game, we're going to look at the hazards in this. If you die in this game, you just start over, you lose the gun, all your ammo, all your progress, everything. Bit of a bummer, but that's how it is. So the primary thing that you're probably going to be seeing the most of is these turrets here. They spin around predictably, they shine a light showing where they can see, and if they see you, they beep at you, and the light changes color. After they lose sight of you, they beep again, and they keep on spinning like nothing happened. So there are 5 parts to these entries. There's the ammo case, which is that orange thing on the back there. There's the camera, which is what is actually putting out the light. There's the battery, which is that little antenna on top. The motor, I'm actually not sure where it is, but I'm pretty sure it's in the middle. If you aim right on the base that it's actually spinning on. That's the smallest, and it's tough to hit. And there's also the gun, which is, you can see it right there, with the barrel. So if you shoot the ammo box, it can't chamber any more rounds. That means that I can only shoot a few times, probably only once, I think. And then it can't shoot you anymore. It'll still look at you and follow you around, but it can't actually hurt you. If you shoot the camera, it won't ever see you. Again, it'll keep spinning. It can still shoot, but it won't because it'll never see anything to shoot at. If you shoot the antenna on top, everything goes down. It looks to the ground, the camera shuts off, it stops spinning, it's done. If you shoot the gun, it can't shoot it anymore. And that sounds like a really good thing, but it's very difficult to tell when the gun actually breaks. If you hit the battery or the motor, it makes a loud sparking sound, and you can actually tell when it's gone. If you hit the gun, that doesn't happen. So you may hit the gun, or think you hit the gun, walk out in front of it, and then it mows you down. So I'm going to see if I can hit the battery here and get it to shut down completely. There we go. So that's its... uh-oh. We have a friend. So that's its completely shut down state. It doesn't do anything. And that's how it'll stay forever. There's no way that it can come back. Please don't hurt me. There's no way that it can come back or do anything else. It's out for good. And on its friend up here, we're going to see if we can hit the camera. Which I did. So the light is no longer on. It's still spinning, looking around, but it can't do anything because it'll never see me. Those are primarily the 2 ways I'm going to try and take out these things, just because the camera is easy to hit, and the battery's very effective, and it's very clear when you do it. And they're close together, so if you sometimes miss the camera, you'll hit the battery instead. Either way, they're out of business. So the sentries do have a maximum range. You can see right now this one can obviously look at me, but it can't quite hit me because I'm a little bit too far away. If I step a little bit closer, it catches on to me, but I can step back out of range again. So the second threat... oh no! Shit! The second threat are those taser drones, which you'll see a bit less often, but they are far more deadly. because they could actually move, unlike our sentry friends. Usually they're in open areas like this, but they can spawn in more open indoor areas. The drones make a very distinct humming sound. You can barely hear it, and they beep just like the sentries do when they see you. Only difference is they don't just look at you and wait a little while before shooting you. They spot you and then fly at you. If they touch you, you die. That's it. Fortunately, they're a bit less picky about where you actually hit them. Usually you can hit them about anywhere and they'll drop. Like that. They're pretty flimsy, but they're a lot faster and I find them a lot tougher to deal with. There we go. So, they have parts as well, but like I said, it's not as important. That's the taser there. That's their camera. They have one. And it actually faces this way. And then rotors, like I said, hit them pretty well anywhere and they drop. So third and final way that you can die in this game is just falling. Ooh! Or almost getting shot. God, they're everywhere. It doesn't take much of a fall to kill you. That was actually one of the higher falls that you can do, but it's surprising how short of a distance is actually required before you die. Like falling from here to there, if you jump at the top of that, I think it'll actually kill you. So I'm actually going to try that right now. And yep, it doesn't take much. And it's a lot bigger threat than you would think. The robots, of course, are going to kill you a lot, but falling is very, very easy to do. And that partially lends itself to how the controls are laid out. Sprinting is done by mashing W. The faster you tap, the faster you go. It's a very weird way to do it. The developers say it's so you're not inclined to sprint everywhere. It's a game where you're not supposed to run around all the time. You're supposed to be a bit more methodical in how you handle things. Another part is the kind of platforming elements. There's not a whole lot that you can do by climbing up and around. You see just there, I was crouching and I accidentally double-tapped W and I lurched forward more than I wanted to. But the platforming, occasionally you'll have to make a jump or you just want to get on top of a railing or something and you need a bit of momentum to do that, but not too much or you'll throw yourself off the ledge. So the overall point of this game is to navigate through these randomly generated areas using only you and your gun, picking up bullets, flashlights, all that good stuff. Surviving until you can find all 11 of the tapes. I don't know what happens if you win, or if anything even does happen. But that's what I'm hoping to do in this playthrough, is eventually get all 11 tapes, beat the game, see what happens, tear my hair out, and die. I can die happy if I beat this game. That's my ultimate goal. So hopefully this explained most of the core mechanics. I skipped over a few things, but I can get more into them when it becomes necessary. The gun handling's a bit bizarre, and I will fumble with it throughout the entire thing, just because it's a lot to do. It's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot of buttons, a lot of different functions, and it all handles differently. So hopefully this helped you understand everything that Receiver has to offer. I'll be going a bit more into detail of how things work and some strategies and stuff like that, how to hide, move, things of that nature in order to survive a bit longer and get more tapes. But for now, I'm going to call it here, covering all the basics of the guns and how the enemies work, and I will see you all in the next episode.